Conversation is going round. People talking about the colors come to town. Fresh as a summer breeze, she'll take you by surprise.
Welcome to another episode of Fresh Waves. We have a terrific show lined up today, but before we get into the show, a big shout out to Reese's Market and Bakery for the fabulous muffins in the studio this morning. They're at 5758 Main Street in Stouffville, because there's a Main Street in every town across this nation. Jason Rumball is our technical producer this morning, and our man about town doing everything under the sun, Mr. Ivan Harris. I'm your host, Brenda Masson, and this is Fresh Waves. This is actually the Freshwaves Valentine's Day show, and we are so happy to have Angela Dacey back in the studio. I'd like to say that you're a regular, but I don't know if once a year classifies as a regular.
I think I'm a bit more than once a year.
Yeah, twice a year.
Maybe. I feel like a regular. It's been for years.
You are a regular.
It's been years.
Ever since the show started, someone told me about this woman who lives in Newmarket, and she's a color therapist. I thought, what the heck is that?
You know, I don't even know how we met.
You know, because I phoned you because someone told me to phone you.
Oh, that's cool.
And I did, and looky.
We've been friends ever since.
Absolutely.
Colorful friends.
And colorful friends, and we know a lot of the same colorful people.
That's true, we do. Well, we're both colorful, amazing people, so it's not surprising.
Not surprising at all. And we've been through a lot of life changes over the last 7 or 8 years. It's an interesting time of life once you hit the 50 mark and then continue on from there. You're probably not even there yet.
I'll be 48 next month.
There you go. So It's an interesting time of life. The kids are getting to a point where they're actually people.
True.
With lots of opinions.
I was going to say their own ideas and opinions. Yep, true.
Which is a good thing, because that's what you raise them to do. You just have to put the little boundaries and picket fences around some of the stuff that they do. But anyway, we've talked about Valentine's Day before, and I want to do it today as if we've never talked about it before. So for people who are just new to the show, who are just tuning in, I want them to know about color and relationships and adding color to our relationships to make them fantastic and fun. But the most important relationship is the relationship that you have with yourself.
Very true.
And bringing the color and all the different energies that the colors have into our own lives for our own personal use. It's great to share it with the world, but it's really wonderful when we can do all of these tricks of the trade for us personally.
It's so true. I call color the vitamins and minerals for the soul.
Oh, that's a nice way of putting it, isn't it?
Yeah, because we need it. We need color. It has a frequency, and so do we. So it's feeding our soul. So the way I look at it is it's nutrients, and we need to have it. And we're attracted to what we need. Just like when you know you need vitamin C and your body craves certain fruits, or, you know, we crave foods when our body needs a certain vitamin or mineral. We also crave color depending on that. So it's pretty phenomenal. And I agree, it's yourself first. That's what we're the self-love, self-worth, everything comes back to that.
Well, one aspect of color that I think is really interesting is the color of the seasons. Because living in Canada, we have 4 very distinct seasons with mucky bits in between.
Yeah, true.
Where it's not really winter and it's not really spring. It's this meh. And it seems like our whole winter has been that way this year. We're lucky today.
Yes.
When we're doing this show, we have a little bit of sunshine outside, but that's been few and far between this year.
For sure.
And then the snow looks pretty and sparkly, and the white is a warmer white that's inviting and beautiful to look at. But there's a lot of black and a lot of gray in this season, and I think there's a lot of clothing that is black and gray. Tell me a little bit about black and gray.
Let me tell you, I have a blue ski jacket. I went out to a small event, like it was like a club event, and everybody's got black jackets. And by the time I actually went to pick up my jacket, I handed the little ticket over to the girl, and I just said, it's blue. She looked and she went, there it is. And I thought, oh my gosh, like everybody is in black. So, I mean, I have a girlfriend, she only wears black. She loves black. That's she won't wear color. And you know, black is beautiful for so many reasons. It shows a lot of respect. It shows a lot of privacy. It's a great color when you don't want to be part of the crowd and you want to just kind of hide in that little corner. You don't want to be seen, but it suppresses the emotions. So I usually like to say with black, think of it as an absence of any color. If you need that time, you need that protection, you need that quiet time, I get it. But if you're out working with the public or you're teaching or you're somehow communicating with people, it actually says, I'm not going to tell you about myself. You're not going to know about me. And that can be a difficult place for communication to start. So black is one of those things, like with a funeral, we wear it because it shows respect. It's not about me. It's about you. It's about that family. But when we're wearing it every day and crossing paths with people, I get concerned. Plus, also, it is a lack of color. So it's, to me, like the fast food of color, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's so popular. But there is that thing where I've heard it said many times before, if a woman is going into a big business meeting with a lot of men, wear the black power suit.
Well, again, you might not want to show your emotions depending on what you're talking about and what you're doing.
That's true.
So I always say, though, black needs one element of color to show you're alive. So if you've got a black power suit and you're going into a room full of men to do a big corporate talk, you need to still have like something in red or something in blue. Give me like a necklace or a bracelet or a scarf or a purse. Give me something, because otherwise it just feels like you're kind of saying, no, I'm not showing you a thing about myself, and everything could be fake and I'm not going to let anything out. And it's not conducive for having a flow, if that makes sense. I worry about how much black everything is right now. I really do.
Well,
everywhere.
I worry about it from a completely practical point of view when I'm driving in the evening and someone's dressed in black and they're crossing the street and I'm making a left-hand turn. You cannot see them.
Not at all.
I mean, short of wearing a Visi vest from a construction site, people need to be seen, and they're not seen. And when they wear black, it's like you said, they vanish somehow.
And in the winter, especially living in Canada, when we lack color in the winter, then we have to look at it as in we're lacking vitamins and minerals. I mean, we definitely need to up the game when it comes to color. It doesn't mean go out and wear the brightest orange jacket if you don't like that, but it means let's bring it into your life in different ways so that we get the vitamins and minerals for the soul that we need at a season that we're lacking. There's no flowers, there's no shrubbery, there's the trees aren't in bloom. Like, we're really seriously needing color, which is why we all go south in February.
But that's another thing. The fashion industry is dictated from countries in the world, like California, like southern Italy, where they don't have winter like we do.
It's true.
So they're coming up with these thin little fabrics that just annoy me, because this is not what you can wear in a Canadian winter. And all of these teenagers who want to be fashionable and live like the Kardashians, they don't understand. They just are not making the equation that this is a big fashion house that is built in California, and they are not aware of how cold it is in Canada on a daily basis. Dress for where you are.
About it.
And you know what? Let's talk about the fact that we can bring this color in a lot of creative ways. Tell me about that.
It's so true. I mean, I've been doing this for 25 years now. Oh my gosh, I'm showing my age. And but within 25 years, mostly people, when they look at color psychology or the reasons behind it, they automatically say, well, I don't look good in yellow. And I'm like, hold on a minute. It's not about what color looks good on you. It's about what color do you decorate with? What's your home decor? It's when you have a bath, are you using essential oils that resonate with the same frequency? So like rosemary has the same frequency as the color yellow, so you can do it that way. Are you buying fresh flowers and putting them on your table in that color? Even a binder for school. It could be something so simple. It doesn't have to be always the clothes you wear. So I think in our mindset, people automatically think color equals clothes. But when you look around, it's everywhere. Everywhere. It's the chair we sit on. It's the notepad we write on. It's the piece of artwork we buy for our office. It's everywhere. It's our comforter in our bedroom. It's everywhere.
It's interesting because we look at color strategically from a marketing point of view. Many, many people in the graphic arts industry, they're not just designing that little Nike check mark because it's a nice check mark.
No, exactly.
There's a lot of psychology and a lot of color psychology going in behind the different logos that you see in the world around us. And the food industry is notorious for it because, even though green is fresh and clean, green can also be the color of mold. It's what shade of green they put in the food packaging. And we're somehow subconsciously aware of it, I would say, for the most part. And only when you and I sit down and have a conversation do we start to really think about, oh, yeah, that's really interesting.
It's funny because in the last year, I've noticed I've been getting booked much more for corporate gigs. And I do a lot of going into corporations and speaking. I work a lot with entrepreneurs, not only from a marketing perspective, but also from the color branding perspective. I've helped many companies with their logos because what your values are and what you're trying to actually I want to say obtain or work forward in your marketing has a lot to do with what color you choose. Right. So it has to resonate and it has to align. So people, I think, it's starting to become more mainstream. But as soon as you tell somebody, hey, guess what? Fast food restaurants are red, orange, and yellow for a reason because they stimulate the appetite and they get you in and out and move fast. They don't want you sitting around. People go, oh my gosh, that's so true. And, there's some companies out there that have portion control sized meals and they package them in blue because blue suppresses the appetite. So then people are like, oh my gosh, I never knew that. So once you start to realize that we're constantly marketed to with color, you become so much more aware. You'll notice a lot of red products at eye level in the grocery store because red creates action and purchasing. So it's fascinating from a corporate standpoint, and I love teaching that as well. But the nice thing is we can use it for ourselves, but there's power in knowing that you're marketed to with color as well, just like you are with scent and sound.
There's a lot of people who believe that the Toronto Maple Leafs have been on a losing streak since
I've said
1968 because of their blue and white uniforms, that they actually need to have a red in there somewhere.
And who is the NBA champions? Raptors.
Red.
I've said years ago I was going to, years before I ever did this, I was in the sports event industry. And I always said I was going to go to the Leafs and either try to get them to change over to red and white or at least give them all like red boxer shorts to wear. Because
I think it would look really nice on that uniform. The leaf is fantastic. Put a red outline around that leaf. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Red anywhere would help. It would, but yes, and I don't understand why they haven't done that. But I'm a basketball fan, so I'm pretty happy with our Raptors. So that works well. But it is something to look at. When you look at sports teams, take a look at the history and the success of their history, and the majority of them have red, orange, and yellow because they're action-oriented, physical, masculine colors.
So if we're going to go out and conquer the world and we want that attitude and we're not maybe feeling at our best because it's winter and you've got the February blahs that have carried on since the January blahs.
True.
What am I wearing? What am I bringing into my life to get me out the door and make me feel good with great energies?
So I'm just going to say color. And the reason why I say that is because
color in general?
Yeah, because it depends so much on what you're going to do, what you're aiming for your success, what's happening in your life, what you're going through, what your thoughts and feelings are. So if you've just gone through grief, for example, and you're finally starting to live life again, maybe after a partner's passed or a parent has passed and you're starting to move forward, the color you're going to choose is very different than someone who's going to go into the corporate world and try to land, a big speaking gig or a contract. So you want to be careful depending on what you're going through, which is why I do my consultations, because it's not just like, oh, pick a color out of the blue. If you're suffering with an immune dysfunction, so here's a great example. If you're suffering with immune dysfunction, say like chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, lupus, you want to bring the color red into your life because red stimulates the blood, the bones, the cells, and it's very physically oriented. So you could actually sleep and wear and have red around you, and it's phenomenal for that energy for physical rebirth and stimulation. But if you're someone who has a healthy immune system and you don't need that, you're going to go to bed, you're never going to sleep. You're going to toss and turn, you're going to feel too high-strung, too action-oriented. So again, depending on what's going on in your life, also depends on what color you're going to wear. So I would just say go to what gravitates towards you. Today I really felt like wearing a nice soft pink. I'm in a soft pink. Yesterday I was in a vibrant blue. It kind of depends on what your mood is and what you're about.
So what would you say about that soft pink? Pink is self-love, is it not?
Pink is self-love. I felt being more subdued with the color today, funny enough. I didn't want to be like, hey, here I am. I want it to be like, hey, I just want to have this really nice conversation about like love and Valentine's Day. I just felt toned down a little. But pink is self-love, and I knew we were going to talk about self-love as well, so I brought that soft pink in, which is very different than if I showed up in like a vibrant color. That would be kind of like, here I am.
Right.
So it depends. Yeah, it depends.
Okay. And I was going to wear blue this morning, and I just kept being drawn to the red and drawn to the red, and then I thought, okay, no, I'm going to wear that sweater because the blue sweater is what I wanted to wear. And you know what? I just picked up the reddish sweater again.
That's perfect.
And I thought, I'm having Angela on the show this
so
morning.
funny.
I just better go with whatever my gut is telling
with your
me.
gut.
And my gut's telling me to wear
And you got
this,
the rose quartz stones.
red. Oh, yes.
Right?
Sometimes those rose quartz, they really do call to you from a healing and medicine point of view. They
Which
really
softens
do.
it.
So,
But the red's the passion and the action. And we are talking about Valentine's Day, which is about passion when you see the red. Like I think we mentioned this on one other show, but I'll mention it again, is that you'll notice Valentine's Day is always 4 main colors: red, pink, white, and black. So you've got the red, which is the passion, the action, the like, I always say, like, throw you up against a wall and have fun, right? Then you've got the pink, which is the more innocent, the softer, the TLC, the love, the tenderness.
Yeah.
Then you have the white, which is the purity and the divinity and the innocence. And then you have the black, which is the mystery, right? So when you look at lingerie for Valentine's Day, it's always red, pink, white, black.
Yeah, it is.
Right? If you're looking at a romance novel, usually they've got something to do with red, pink, white, or black, because they're trying to show you like, oh, this is about love and romance, or it's about, passion and action, or it's about the mystery behind who is that person and what are they about, or I'm just innocent.
It's kind of funny you said that, because if you think about the romance industry, the way it's all packaged, there's very little green and blue in there.
Yeah, which is actually your emotional centers, so kind of interesting. But that's not what we read romance for, right? So it's it's really, if you go into a bookstore or a library, or I always find is very interesting from a branding perspective to look at all the different sections. The horror section's black and reds, or you've got the spiritual section, a lot of violets, a lot of indigos, right? So you'll start to see corresponding colors because, again, it influences us and helps us buy, and it automatically is a subconscious thing for us.
Okay. Well, for those who've never heard you speak before, let's do a little synopsis of the colors.
Okay.
And what they mean. We're going to run through all of the colors. Now, you have these color cards that are very nice and make it very convenient for us. We'll start with, I guess, this is kind of mother of pearl. Ooh, that's fancy.
So I have my own angel pendant jewelry line that was made by Stan Tate in Bracebridge. So each angel has a gemstone that matches a color that has a message to go with it. So yes, so for the white we use mother of pearl. It's also a gemstone that matches, and white is about divinity. So white is your highest connection to your highest power. So whether you say God, Allah, Jah, omnipresent, it's the best for protection. That's why you see the white crystal quartz stones. If you feel for any reason that you've had a lot of negative energy, you want to bring white in. It's very pure. It's cleansing.
Weddings.
Very innocent, right? Which is why they use it for that as well. So I love white. I decorate a lot with white. I just find it so clean and fresh, and I feel like I'm surrounded by my angels all the time.
And there are warm whites and cool whites.
That's up
so
to
as
you.
long as you know your whites, you can bring in.
I always say the tone is up to you.
Yeah.
Right? Because your white's going to be different than my white.
Right.
But that's okay.
Because it's probably based on our energies, because our energies are going to be different.
Exactly.
All right, let's do purple next, just because purple and white kind of are in the higher divinity realm, are they not?
True. So we have violet and indigo. So violet, consider, if you think of the chakras, which are your spinning wheels of energy, it goes back to chakras and thousands and thousands of years ago. If you think of violet sitting on the top of your head, that's also your connection to the divine. But this is where we channel in our creativity. So, when you just get that, song lyric that comes into your head and you're like, oh, I got to write that down, right? Or all of a sudden, especially people who are creative, they're like, I've got to build this. I don't know where it came from, or I have this great idea. I know my multi-million-dollar idea. That's your violet crown chakra. So that's where you want to really channel in the spiritual energy. It connects you to your soul. It's beautiful. The indigo sits right in between your two eyes, called the brow chakra, or the third eye. I call that your inner spirit. So think of violet as the outer, And the indigo is the inner. It connects you to not only your own spirit, your own inner peace, but it's your angels, your guides, your messengers. So I always say, think of your highest power, then think of your messengers, then think of you. So that's the way I kind of look at it. So think of indigo helping you see the big picture in life. If you're stuck into the small details, use indigo. It'll get you to see the big picture. If you really want to surrender and just say, I need to ask for help. Sometimes I ask for the parking spot. And people laugh at me, but you know what? I think to myself, I don't think it's going to, like, my God's not going to say, hey, you know what? She doesn't deserve that. It's going to be like, oh, that's not going to affect her whole soul purpose. I'll give you a parking spot. I get the best parking spots in the world because I ask my angels for it. Ask my angels for everything. That's the indigo energy.
Okay.
So those are the spiritual-based chakras, spiritual colors, indigo and violet.
Where does blue...
So then we have our blue and green.
Okay.
So
blue, I think indigo is bluey purple. Is it not?
It is. So it's more connected. Think of that eggplant, deep plum, dark grapes. Think of that for the indigo.
Okay.
Okay. Blue, think of the ocean. Think of the sky.
Water,
yeah. So, I mean, blue is so beautiful and calming. It sits in the throat area. It's about vocalizing our truth and our authenticity.
Would it be communication then as well?
Very much so.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you need to communicate, say you're going for an interview, or maybe you're having a big conversation with your partner.
Maybe I'm having a talk show.
You're having a talk show, which could be why you wanted to wear blue today. Definitely. Then blue is the color. It's also considered to be the most relaxing, the best for pain, the most calming. So I really recommend blue sheets, pajamas, and pillowcases, especially for someone who needs healing. You'll see blue a lot in hospitals for healing. It's a very calming color, but it's also our earth, our sky, our water. And then the green is like, they're both emotionally based colors. So where blue helps you communicate and voice, green is about the heart and the balance of giving and receiving love. So green is the center of all. There's 3 chakras above and 3 chakras below. Everything comes back to love. Everything comes back to the heart. So it's a beautiful thing. If we've had heartbreak, or we are going through grief, or we're suffering with guilt, the heart chakra is affected and we need more green. So think of, again, when spring, summer comes, how lush everything is with green. We are surrounded by greens and blues, which is beautiful. It's our earth. So we feel very connected when there's a lot of green around. So in the winter, I suggest bringing in plants, finding a way to bring green. I just did my whole bedroom in green. I just feel so much peaceful, more calm. Now, where blue's really calming, green's really good to relax the muscles and the nerves. So if you have joint pain, muscle pain, that's where you want to start getting into the green. They're both the most calming colors. So think of,
interesting.
Yeah, and as we get into the mental and the physical, you'll realize they're more action-oriented, where greens and blues are emotional, and it's about balancing emotions, where the purples are more spiritual, about connecting to your spirit and your soul purpose. So,
all right, now yellow. Here's yellow sitting all by itself. Let's
yellow's a power color, man. Yellow is about getting rid of judgment and focusing on courage. It sits in the solar plexus, but kind of right in your gut area. You know that feeling when your gut says, I got to do this and not that?
Yeah.
Our gut tells us a lot, and if we listen, it's connection to the spiritual world. But yellow is the best color, I think, for confidence, self-esteem. It raises us up. It makes us feel powerful. It gives us our center, our core. It also stimulates the mind and memory. So I always joke, think of yellow Post-it notes. They're yellow for a reason. So for kids in school, it's a great color for, with binders and highlighters and all that, because it actually helps the mind and the memory. So,
interesting, because when my kids used to do exams, now they're mostly out of school, except for Robin. Hello, Robin. But I would find at the dollar store or wherever, secondhand store, something yellow, a little yellow happy face or a yellow tennis ball with a happy face that I would draw on myself. And they would put that on their desk while they're writing an exam. And they said it helped.
It's incredible. I've actually had students as well say the same thing. Their marks have skyrocketed because of using yellow. It really does help. And if you are suffering with Alzheimer's or any form of short-term memory loss, it's great for that.
But what about digestion? Because it's...
Yep, so it sits in that area. So again, especially if you have any illnesses like IBS, Crohn's disease, anything like that, I would suggest yellow. It's a really good digestive, that's my new word, digestive color if you're doing a cleanse. But so here's the thing, think of the yellow sunshine. how much we need it, right? So
Right.
this is where I would say if we're missing sun, we take vitamin D. We need yellow. Bring in yellow flowers. I find painting a bathroom in yellow really super positive. It starts our day going, wake up, it's sunshine.
Well, it used to be the real estate color of kitchens.
Yeah.
They said you could always sell your house if you had a yellow kitchen.
Yeah, it's bright, it's fresh, it's yeah. So I love yellow for when we need that wake-up call, but to really stimulate our mind and memory.
Well, we have to take a little break. When we come back, we'll continue our color conversation with Angela. Can't wait. You're listening to Fresh Waves. I'm your host, Brenda Masson. We have Angela Dacey living life colorfully this morning. Stay tuned.